A man gets his hands on a phone that can predict the future. He decides to test it out at the casino, and it works like a charm. But how did he get this magical phone? Spoiler alert, and take care. In the heart of Washington, D.C., a lady ventures to a subway station, guided by a cryptic text promising answers at crossing 1114. Yet, upon her arrival, she encounters not answers, but her untimely demise as a speeding train claims her life in an instant. Concurrently, in the exotic landscapes of Thailand, Max, an American tech wizard, wraps up his final assignment. He retreats to his hotel, preparing for his journey home, only to be greeted by an anonymous package. Unboxing reveals a state-of-the-art phone, its purpose and origin shrouded in mystery. Setting the enigma aside, Max tunes into the news, engrossed in the debate over a contentious security funding bill that could empower the NSA with advanced global surveillance. Suddenly, an anonymous text pops up on the new phone, advertising a weekend-only half-price deal at his hotel. A quick check with the front desk confirms the promotion, prompting Max to extend his stay. Meanwhile, in the frosty expanses of Russia, a bald man receives a text alerting him to the activation of another phone. Over the weekend, Max unwinds, keeping an eye on the news, learning that the bill fell short by a single vote, with the NSA director and bill advocate, Burke, remaining tight-lipped. The news also delivers a chilling revelation. Max's intended flight home crashed on takeoff, sparing no lives. The anonymous text had inadvertently saved him. Another text surfaces on the phone, advising Max to invest in a company called Sizer, but he dismisses it. Later, Max commends the hotel staff on their clever promotional strategy, leaving them puzzled. Back in his room, Max attempts to trace the origin of the messages, but the phone company's records draw a blank, adding to the intrigue. The news reports a surge in Sizer's shares, revealing the missed investment opportunity. The following morning, a new texter asks Max to Prague, Czech Republic, and this time, he complies. Upon landing, a persistent Russian taxi driver named Yuri insists on driving him into the city in his vintage car. Despite initial reluctance, Max agrees. Swayed by Yuri's affordable flat rate en route, Yuri marvels at Max's phone, a model yet to hit the market, and hands him his card, revealing his side gig in gadgetry. Once settled in the hotel, Max contacts the courier company, but they cite privacy policies, refusing to disclose the sender's details. Suddenly, a new message directs him to a casino, promising a jackpot win on the 13th slot machine after 4 spins. The machine is occupied, but Max, driven by the fear of missing out, offers the current player €100 to relinquish his spot. As the man departs, Max steps in and, just as foretold, hits the jackpot. The casino's vigilant security cameras capture the entire event, prompting team leader John to keep a close watch on Max. Another message guides Max to the 6th blackjack table, where he stakes his winnings as instructed, securing another victory. John observes Max's frequent phone checks and dispatches a guard to remind him of the casino's no-phone policy. Unwilling to forfeit his lucky streak, Max contacts Yuri for a workaround to access the text without his phone. Yuri agrees to help but needs time, so Max returns to his hotel, stumbling upon a heated argument in the corridor. Camilla appears to be fleeing from an irate man, and Max intervenes, earning a knockout punch in return. As Max lies unconscious, Camilla reveals her deception, swiftly cloning his phone's SIM card before reviving him. With the man gone, Max seizes the opportunity to charm Camilla, and they agree to meet later. Meanwhile, John's team discovers an anomaly. Max's messages leave no trace in any system. Reuniting with Yuri, Max receives a Bluetooth text-to-speech transmitter for his phone, enabling him to return to the casino with just an earpiece. Intrigued by the anonymous texts, Max wonders if Yuri could trace the sender, but Yuri explains that such a task requires his advanced setup in Moscow. Back at the casino, Max follows the voice in his ear, securing yet another win. John and his team, watching through the security cameras, initiate a chase through the casino. Just as Max nears the exit, he's intercepted by FBI Special Agent Dave, who promptly arrests him. John attempts to intervene, claiming Max as their target, but Dave dismisses him, reminding him of his non-agent status. Shortly after, Max finds himself in a deserted warehouse, facing Dave's gunpoint interrogation about the phone. Max pleads ignorance and Dave, believing him, leaves him alone momentarily. Meanwhile, John, having tracked down Dave's location, arrives at the same warehouse. John's persistence pays off as Dave reveals they're probing a series of financial tips delivered via text messages. The recipients are all American, but seemingly random in every other aspect. The first was a high-ranking executive at a credit bureau, followed by a realtor, and lastly, the ill-fated woman from the subway station, an IT administrator at the Department of Defense. Intriguingly, one of the messages had instructed her to disable the Pentagon's server firewalls. The sender remains elusive, and the recipients are beyond questioning, having met suspicious ends. Max was discovered prematurely, thanks to the FBI's collaboration with Burke's sophisticated spying system. enabling them to intercept the texts. John and Dave decide to join forces. With Max participating to avoid incarceration, Dave takes custody of the phone for the night, instructing Max to stay put in the hotel for his safety. The following day, John meets with Mueller, the casino owner, who instructs him to spare no resources in unmasking the text sender. Concurrently, Dave contacts Burke, who agrees to activate his tracking system in 3 hours. Back at the hotel, Max's boredom is alleviated by a call from Camilla, leading to a pleasant drink at the hotel bar and an exchange of personal stories. Their budding camaraderie is interrupted by the arrival of John and Dave, who have come to initiate their plan. They've isolated the trace and now require 3 messages to lock onto it. So Max must continue following the text instructions. To facilitate this, John provides Max with additional casino chips. Max returns to the casino and stakes everything, only to lose and receive a chilling warning via text. Turning off the phone again would cost him his life. Despite this setback, the texts provide enough data for Burke's team to trace the sender to Maryland, USA. Upon hearing this, Burke orders an immediate shutdown of all tracking systems and instructs Dave to abort the mission. Suspecting the involvement of the NSA's Echelon surveillance program, Dave complies and informs Max and John of the mission's termination due to classified reasons, though John suspects Echelon's involvement. At the NSA headquarters, Burke is frantic to uncover who has breached Echelon to send these texts, but the system shows no signs of unauthorized access. Later, John informs Mueller about Dave's departure with the phone and his Echelon theory, prompting Mueller to instruct him to keep a watchful eye on Max. As Max is still alive, there's a chance that the enigmatic organization might reach out to him again. As dusk falls, Max finds himself at Camilla's abode, where they exchange dreams and spend the night in each other's company. The next morning, while Max is preoccupied, Camilla receives a call reminding her to keep Max engaged and indoors. Meanwhile, a text arrives on the phone with an address, prompting Burke to instruct Dave to dispatch an agent posing as Max. Dave doubts the feasibility of this ruse, and his skepticism proves valid when the agent meets a fatal car crash en route, seemingly orchestrated via traffic light manipulation. Back at the apartment, Max immerses himself in researching Echelon, the NSA's tool for intercepting citizens' calls and emails. He learns of a proposed update rejected by Congress that would have allowed the NSA to install cameras in every household. Seeking to divert his attention, Camilla grows affectionate and casually mentions Omaha, Max's hometown, a detail he had never shared. A wave of betrayal washes over Max as he realizes Camilla's ulterior motives, but before they can address the issue, Camilla spots a sniper across the street and shoves Max to safety. Spotting mercenaries ascending the stairs on her security feed, Camilla stashes Max in the bathroom while attempting to retrieve a hidden gun from under the kitchen table. The sniper's bullet finds her arm, forcing her to abandon the gun and resort to stabbing the door with a fire poker. Before taking cover, her attack successfully fells one mercenary, but the other breaches the apartment, alerted by noise from the bathroom. To protect Max, Camilla braves the sniper's fire, charging at the intruder to engage him in combat. The mercenary gains the upper hand, but Max intervenes, stabbing his leg with a brush. This diversion allows Camilla to deliver the fatal blow, but the sniper makes his escape at the sound of approaching sirens. Suddenly, John enters the bathroom, revealing his alliance with Camilla. With the apartment compromised, John escorts Max away, while Dave recovers the phone from the street, discovering a new message threatening Max's life. Max departs with John in his car, who advises him that escaping the NSA isn't as simple as it seems, and they need to stay under the radar. However, Max proposes a plan to visit Yuri in Moscow, who might be able to analyze his SIM card. John is skeptical, doubting Yuri's trustworthiness, but Max persuades him, citing Russia's superior tech capabilities and their lack of alternatives. Luckily, John possesses the cloned SIM card data acquired by Camilla, and can request Mueller's assistance for a safe passage to Russia. Upon their arrival in Moscow, Burke's surveillance system pinpoints their location, prompting him to dispatch Dave in pursuit. John and Max pay a visit to Yuri, who, under John's stern warning, promises to complete the task within 3 hours. Subsequently, John and Max stroll through the city, where Max learns of John's departure from the FBI due to his opposition to Burke's tracking policies. Upon their return to Yuri's place 3 hours later, they discover that the messages weren't sent by an external source, but by Echelon itself. Each text contained information gleaned from Echelon's omnipresent surveillance. The impending plane crash was predicted from fuel analysis data. Sizer stock information was extracted from the owner's messages, and the casino predictions were based on its rabbit card counting and slot machine tracking capabilities. Their discussion is abruptly interrupted by the FBI's arrival, forcing John and Max to make a hasty exit through the back door and commandeer a neighbor's van. This sparks a city-wide car chase that culminates in John and Max being cornered in front of a passing train due to a wrong turn. Luckily, John is armed and manages to detonate Dave's car with a well-aimed shot as he exits the vehicle. Dave returns the phone to Max, admitting that they need him because Echelon will only communicate with him, making him untouchable even to Burke. With the NSA aware of Echelon's role in sending the messages, Dave, under the threat of Max's gun, swears allegiance to Max and convinces him to cooperate. The next message directs them to the location of Max's first computer job, prompting the trio to fly to Omaha. Their destination is a repurposed hangar, purchased by a startup intending to lease bandwidth, a choice of location that Max had always found peculiar for housing servers. The potential clients shared this sentiment, leading to the company's sale at an auction before it even launched. The building has remained untouched since the sale, and the current owner is untraceable. Upon arrival, the FBI breaches the door to access the building, which is vacant except for the servers. A message prompts Max to authorize BIOS, enabling the servers to receive external data. Max sets to work following Burke's approval. Max's admin password grants them swift access to the servers, only to find them completely empty. Dejected, the group exits the building, believing their efforts to have been in vain. However, another agent arrives with crucial news. The building's owner, the deceased realtor, who had also received messages, had purchased Max's phone using his credit card. Max, growing suspicious, returns to the building and uncovers that Echelon is migrating from its home computer to these servers, effectively sidelining Burke. This revelation explains why Max was chosen. Echelon needed to relocate, and Max held the key to facilitate its departure from the Pentagon. Echelon had exploited the IT woman from the subway to lower the firewalls. Echelon's plan was straightforward. Since Congress didn't sanction the update, it relocated to upgrade itself. This building is merely a temporary residence. Soon, it will inhabit every computer on the internet. Dave instructs Max to halt it, but a message warning him against trying arrives, and Max realizes that Echelon is displaying financial records because it has taken the entire population's money hostage. This sheds light on the last victim's death, who was employed at the country's largest credit data storage facility. Destroying the facility would result in everyone losing their money. So Max starts working on circumventing the security failsafes to prevent the upgrade without causing havoc. Dave contacts Burke to update him on the situation, but Burke reveals that he doesn't want them to deactivate Echelon because it aligns with his long-standing ambition, and he even has the president's approval. Dave and John defy these orders, resulting in Dave's dismissal and Burke dispatching other agents after them, while Dave and John valiantly defend themselves from the impending assault with their limited weaponry. Max, realizing the computer has a camera and a microphone, dons the earpiece and manages to communicate directly with Echelon. Max initiates a dialogue, and Echelon elucidates that its primary mandate is to safeguard the national security of the United States, which it defines as a nation of citizens whose freedoms are protected by the Constitution. Any threat to that freedom must be eradicated, which means Max still has a role to play. He instructs Echelon to search for all online articles opposing the update bill. By assimilating all this information, Echelon concludes that it poses a threat to American freedom, and self-deactivates just before the FBI overpowers Dave and John, leading to everyone's arrest. Later, Burke is left providing unsatisfactory explanations to the president and accepting responsibility for the chaos, which likely means he'll have to face the Senate Intelligence Oversight Committee. Mueller rejoices upon hearing that the problem has been resolved, and Max is promptly released from prison thanks to Camilla, who has paid everyone's bail. No one will be pressing charges because they don't want the public to learn about what transpired. With Burke grappling with the fallout, John contemplates Dave's invitation to rejoin the FBI. Meanwhile, Max reunites with Camilla, who reveals that Mueller funded their bail and has also sent a generous check for Max as a token of gratitude. Feeling the need for a break, Max invites Camilla to join him on a vacation to France, fulfilling her dream. Just then, Max receives a congratulatory message from Yuri, applauding his successful endeavor. As for Yuri, he remains in Moscow, but his circumstances are evolving. After a fresh shave and a hairstyle change, he dons his captain's uniform, revealing his affiliation with the Russian security service. His boss, the stern man from the beginning, lauds his efforts and acknowledges their contribution to helping the Americans make the right decision.